What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Nacho Wrestling. In the world of professional wrestling, we have seen a lot of things evolve, a lot of things come and go, but one thing that has changed more drastically than anything over the years is how we watch the wrestling product. More importantly, how we watch the WWE pay-per-views or AEW pay-per-views or PLEs, whatever you want to call them. How we watch the monthly special events has changed a lot over the years, and it's all thanks to one streaming service. No, not Fight TV, the WWE Network, and we're going to talk about all of it in today's video. So with that out of the way, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to stay up to date on all things Nacho Wrestling, and if this is your first time watching a Nacho Wrestling video, why don't you consider hitting the subscribe button? I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers, and your help would be greatly appreciated. With that out of the way, let's move on to talking about how the WWE Network changed everything. Now, I would take a shot in the dark and guess that most wrestling fans are aware of the fact that before the streaming service wars, before being able to just get Peacock for $10 a month or get AEW on Prime or anything like that, or HBO Max, you had to contact your cable provider and spend $60 a month to get the pay-per-view, which is crazy because let's say WWE is running 12 pay-per-views a year. That's $60. 60 times 12 is $600. $600 a month, or sorry, $600 a year for every single pay-per-view. That is a lot of money. Imagine charging that in 2025 with all these streaming options that are out there. Looking at you, AEW. This is also the era where the base success of a pay-per-view was not simply ticket sales, gate numbers, and how many people signed up for the streaming platform or anything like that. It was simply the buys. No, not those buys. Buys like I went to the grocery store and I buy peanut butter, B-U-Y. For example, these numbers are completely kayfabe, but let's say WrestleMania 24 did about 100 pay-per-view buys. Or sorry, not 100, that would be terrible. 100,000 pay-per-view buys. 100,000 people at home decided to get the pay-per-view. Let's say the next year at WrestleMania 25, about 95,000 people decide to get WrestleMania 25. This would immediately lead to WWE assuming that WrestleMania 25, for whatever reason, whether it's the booking, whether it's the creative, whether it's just the matches that they have on the card, or maybe location, or maybe just general disinterest, whatever, WrestleMania 25 would be looked at as a failure because it didn't get the same amount of pay-per-view buys or more as WrestleMania 24. And the same thing could be said for Royal Rumble or SummerSlam or any other pay-per-view for that matter. Several times over, this era was on the brink of destruction, especially during the late 2000s, early 2010s, with streaming services like Netflix and Hulu, and even ESPN throwing their hat in the ring for trying to get rights to the WWE for the longest time. Also around this time, we saw the WWE themselves uploading a lot of exclusive content to WWE.com, whether it was little like short videos from the backstage area, like exclusive interviews with wrestlers, or whether it was trying to think of what else I saw on there at the time. Oh, sometimes straight up exclusive matches, like they would post dark matches on there, they would post anything from like main event or at the time superstars on there. A lot of stuff was posted to WWE.com directly. And for me, I see this as sort of like a soft pilot to the WWE Network, because they definitely were able to track the internet traffic to WWE.com and to these specific windows and tabs and everything. And I'm sure they saw a lot of people were watching their exclusive wrestling stuff. So they realized there's probably a market for a wrestling streaming service, especially with the vast tape library that we own. And of course, that would finally come to head, and the pay-per-view era for WWE would finally be put to bed in February of 2014. Here we are at the launch of the WWE Network, just in time for the 30th WrestleMania. And no, this is not the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania, not like they would have you believe. Technically, the 30th anniversary would be the 31st WrestleMania. I don't have time to explain it, but that's just how anniversaries work. You don't count the first one as anniversary. That's the date. That doesn't count. There, I explained it. The initial ad campaign is so memorable. The whole $9.99 of it all is perfect. I remember the flags. I remember the video ads everywhere on YouTube. Before WWE stuff on YouTube, they would have the network ad play. You have a bunch of superstars going, just $9.99, just $9.99, just $9.99. And like, you got everything. You got the pay-per-views. You got the back catalog of pay-per-views. You got the back catalog of Raw. You got the back catalog of SmackDown. And oh, did I mention that you're getting all of WCW, all of ECW, all of the territory stuff that they own. And I'm talking like damn near all of it. Of course, there was some stuff that they got rid of, but like pretty much everything that anybody could want. From Smoky Mountain Wrestling to, I already mentioned NWA and WCW and ECW. And I'm talking like ECW, like Eastern Championship Wrestling ECW, not just Extreme Championship Wrestling. They go way, way back with stuff. And it was just $10 a month. I mean, who's not going to chew on that opportunity? It's a great price. These next two chapters are me talking about why I think the network not only was one of the best things ever created for wrestling fans, but why it still is one of the best things ever created for wrestling fans, even if it's not accessible anywhere in the world anymore. For any type of wrestling fan, old or new or lapsed, the network was perfect. You want to go back and watch all your favorite Attitude Era stuff? Go ahead, it's all right there for you. You want to watch the Ruthless Aggression Era stuff? Go ahead, it's right there for you. Hey, you want to watch the current, up-to-date stuff? Right there for you too. Literally all of it. No matter what type of fan you were, no matter what age demographic you were, they had what you wanted, as long as you were a fan of the WWE and everything they owned. And of course, this was all accessible on one tier at just $9.99. That's right, there's no ad tier where it's like $5 a month. Later on in its existence, they did kind of float that idea around, but it didn't really take off. But just $9. Just $9. Or $10.60, whatever, plus tax, you know? So $10.60. Now, a little backstory for you guys. I did not get the WWE Network immediately when it came out because, let's just say, I didn't have shmoney like that. I didn't have motion. I was also 12 and did not have my own credit card or debit card to use, and I'm not one of those snot-nosed little brats that just steals his parents' cards and puts it on his phone and uses it for whatever he wants. So for about the first year or so of the network's existence, you might as well call me Jack Sparrow the way I was pirating the pay-per-views. I do vividly remember the day I got the WWE Network. It was on my birthday in 2016, October 9th to be exact, and I remember my best friend, my role model, my grandfather, Popper Buddy, calling me up, asking me if I was going to watch No Mercy, and I told him, yeah, I'm going to, but I don't want to pirate it. And he said, well, it's your birthday. Do you want the WWE Network for your birthday? Who's gonna say no to that? That No Mercy card, of course, featured John Cena versus AJ Styles versus Dean Ambrose in a triple threat match, which was pretty banging, all things considered. And that pay-per-view will always hold a special place in my heart because it was the first pay-per-view I watched on the network, and it was the first thing I saw when I opened the Pandora's box that is the WWE Network. More importantly, there was a lot of hidden gems. No, not the show Hidden Gems, but there was a lot of sleepers, a lot of great stuff that the network was making exclusively for the network. Of course, I've already mentioned you had the extensive catalogs of WCW, ECW, and all the territories that the WWE had bought up and chewed up and spit out over its 40 years. They had old home WWE video stuff, like the documentaries from the early 2000s and those like 3 DVD sets. Shout out to the people that like owned the like 2006 DX 3D 3 DVD set. That shit was awesome. But they also had new and original content produced, like I've been talking about, and no more so than a small little show out in Full Sail University called NXT. We all know the story of NXT, so I don't really need to dive in it too much, but other than that, you had some absolute banger documentaries like WWE 24, and a little later on, its sister show, WWE 365. But some major episodes of WWE 24 include that one about the Hardy Boys' return at WrestleMania 33, the one about TakeOver Brooklyn featuring Sasha Banks versus Bayley comes to mind as well, and honestly, I think, if anything, WWE 24 is probably my favorite documentary to come out of the WWE Network. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite documentary series, or just series in general from the WWE Network era was. Speaking of the non-documentary stuff, they had reality shows like Legends House and Total Bellas and Total Divas, and even Tough Enough, I think, was on the network. That like weird like 13th season or something like that. I think that was on the network. You had animated TV like Camp WWE, which featured adult crass humor about children WWE stars. Pretty funny, actually. It's kind of like a Big Mouth situation. And I could be wrong about this one, so someone fact check me on it in the comments, but I'm almost positive they had their old WWE movies on there, like 12 Rounds starring John Cena, and The Marine starring John Cena, and The Chaperone starring Triple H. However, not everything can be sunshine and rainbows, as around 2017-2019, there became a huge issue of oversaturation in the streaming service world. See, with the success of Netflix and Hulu, everyone and their grandmother decided, oh yeah, I can have a streaming service too. So here comes Disney Plus, here comes Paramount Plus, here comes MGM Plus. Jesus. Get a little more creative with the streaming service names, guys. And some of these streaming services are still around today and have become, honestly, just as integral or important as Netflix or Hulu. I'm looking at you, Disney Plus, which is about to absorb Hulu and close its doors, technically, in 2026. Rest in peace, Hulu. In the spirit of Hulu being absorbed into Disney Plus, back in 2019 is when we initially started to see these absorptions and bundlings of streaming services. Things like Apple TV and Netflix would pair up together to offer you a discount. The biggest one I think of is the ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, and Hulu bundle that became a thing around 2020, 2021, I want to say. And this is also when a light bulb went off in WWE's head on, hey, how can we make even more money? As we all know, 2019 is arguably one of, if not the shittiest, dookiest, bootiest ass years of WWE, not only creatively, but fiscally as well. Boy howdy, did they not do anything during the year of 2019. They recorded low numbers on the network, just plummeting. People were tired of the network. People were done with it. I don't think they were tired of the network. I think they were tired of WWE because there was a little alternative around at the time. A little startup indie fed, a little t-shirt company now known as AE freaking W. Now, the biggest thing about AEW, and I think where a lot of people get confused is, well, AEW, still to this day, is charging you $50, $60 for their pay-per-views. WWE doesn't charge me that much. Well, yeah, but WWE, at least now, like if we're comparing right now, let's take a look at it. $50, $60 to AEW for a 12-match show. That's a lot of wrestling. If we wanted to, like, chop it up, hold on, where's my phone? Phone. Let's do some live math here, okay? I know someone's screaming at me in the comments, you know, your calculator brains. Okay, let's do 60 divided by 12. $5. I should have known that. $5 a match is technically what you're paying for if it's a 12-match card from AEW. Now, let's say it's a 5-match card from WWE for $60. Heesh. That is exceedingly more expensive. I'm paying $12? Again, I suck at math, guys. I said this earlier in the video. I'm paying $12 now per match, and I'm only getting 5 matches? Sometimes maybe only 4 matches? That's very unfair. Back to the network. With it limping through the pandemic and rumors swirling and speculating about a deal with Netflix on the horizon, or maybe even a deal with Hulu/Disney, or hell, Jeff Bezos and Amazon Prime had their hat in the ring for a second for the rights to WWE's tape library. And it was adamant that the experiment of the WWE Network was well and truly dead and ready to be put on ice for good. And in 2021, the deal was announced. WWE was moving to Peacock. More importantly, WWE was making about $1 billion off this deal with Peacock, on top of the $1 billion deal they have with Saudi Arabia at the time. They were making money, money, money. Put Shane McMahon's theme song in. Here comes the money. Here we go. Money talk. Here comes the money. And honestly, the last and most important thing about the Peacock era of WWE is pay-per-views were no longer pay-per-views. They were premium live events. Because what WWE offers is not a traditional wrestling event. It's entertainment. It's premium. Whatever. A little background for everybody. I had this video script done for about 2 weeks before I started filming. And then WWE decided, oh, Ryan's about to do a video about how streaming has changed everything. Well, let's go ahead and change it again, because Peacock is essentially losing its rights to the streaming for PLEs to ESPN, starting in September with WrestlePalooza. Originally, it was supposed to start in 2026 around WrestleMania Las Vegas Part 2 Electric Boogaloo, but now, instead, it's starting earlier with the counter-programming show against AEW All Out. More importantly, let's take a look at that price tag on the ESPN direct-to-consumer service that the WWE pay-per-views are going to be on moving forward. First of all, I think depending on who you have for your cable provider, if you have ESPN, you technically have the direct-to-consumer service, so you won't have to pay for the pay-per-view on top of it. So that's pretty cool. So it's like included in your cable or included in whatever you have, you know, whether it's like Sling TV or Spectrum or DirecTV. I'm not sure how it's working. I'm a little confused on that. But the price tag of that direct-to-consumer service is $30 a month. $30 a month. That's $360 a year. Huh? For a 4-match card, 7 matches if it's WrestleMania, 6 if it's SummerSlam? Hell nah, I ain't paying that. But if you're only going to watch the PLEs and everything like that, and the monthly special events, I guess it's a good deal, especially when they do like the, 2 PLEs sort of in the same month deal. I guess, maybe, sure, go ahead, 360 is not terrible. It's better than like the 600 price tag for AEW, it looks better on paper. Let's say you want to watch all of the main stuff. You want to watch Raw, you want to watch NXT, you want to watch SmackDown, and you want to watch the pay-per-views. You need Netflix. That's $7 a month. You need some sort of cable provider, something for USA Network. You don't just get that with like regular like satellite bunny ears. You do get CW with bunny ears, so you can just go to Walmart, get something cheap, and boom, you should be able to fiddle around and get CW, and then the $30 a month for ESPN's direct-to-consumer service if it's not provided with whatever cable provider you have. And that's the biggest thing that I can't stand, is how segmented everything is. So if you're doing the math in your head, if you're writing all that down, it's roughly $630 a year to watch all of WWE's products. Oh, yeah, no, you'll still need Peacock. I almost forgot. You will still need Peacock, ladies and gentlemen, because they're doing Saturday night's main event on Peacock. So you'll need 5 things if you want to watch all of WWE's stuff. Streaming wrestling is honestly not worth paying $700 a month. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to go type in the comments. Nacho, you pay for every AEW pay-per-view, even if it's a shitty one. How can you justify spending $600 a year on AEW? Blah, 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 blah. Well, you've been watching. I said it earlier. They offer 12 matches. That's a fair deal. That's $5 a match. Like, come on. It's literally not to steal from the Young Bucks, but it's more bang for your buck. Okay? I feel like my $50, my hard-earned money from my job, is worth plunking down for AEW shows because I know I'm going to get some good quality wrestling entertainment. Not whatever this weird pseudo-wrestling drama. I don't even know what WWE TKO has been doing lately. Second of all, shut the fuck up, nerd. No one asked you. This last-minute addition to End Chapter is to all say that it really does seem like the pay-per-view cycle or the pay-per-view model is back, and we are on an endless catch-22 cycle of the professional wrestling landscape. I'm sure in 5 to 10 years, enough people will be annoyed with everything that we will see the streaming services like WWE Network and maybe even like an AEW Plus or something like that pop up, and you'll get specifically what you want, when you want it, and nothing else. The WWE Network will sadly one day be forgotten, and that hurts my heart a lot, because I think the WWE Network was a perfect way to introduce people to WWE, to wrestling. I mean, what better way to tell people, hey, here's our entire history, have at it, go watch what you want to watch, cherry pick what you like. But now, instead, it's, hey, here's our entire history that we want to share with you. It just seems a little sus, a little unfair. Doesn't scream like they want us to doesn't scream like they want us to enjoy the product, essentially. I don't know. That's my headcanon. That's how it makes sense in my head. I think at the end of the day, the best thing for the WWE was the WWE Network, is the WWE Network, and will forever be the WWE Network. I almost forgot. The biggest thing about the network, this is the biggest thing, the biggest legacy that the network will ever have is that they had fucking chapters. You could literally pick specific matches that you wanted to watch, specific promo segments that you wanted to watch. Everything. It had everything. If you wanted to watch a specific match, hey, guess what? Type in that match into the search engine. Boom. Right there for you. Want to watch a Chris Benoit match? Guess what? Good luck finding it. Because he's only competing in singles action. There was only 2 people banned from the WWE Network from being shown in like Chris Benoit versus Dean Malenko. It was Dean Malenko in singles action. It was Chris Benoit and someone else. I'm forgetting the other person's name. Put them right here. Nowadays, I'm lucky if I go to Peacock, and I'm lucky to even type in the match and see if I even get like a clip of it, let alone the whole match itself. It'll give me something that's not even related to WWE if I type it into the search engine. All that is to say that the WWE Network made it easy, made it enjoyable, made it fun to watch wrestling. Was it innovative? No. Did it do anything groundbreaking? No. But it allowed fans of all ages, fans of all demographics, to come together and watch a product that they enjoy. And that, I think, is the most important thing. It is undoubtedly clear that the WWE Network has shaped everything today with the landscape of WWE and Netflix and ESPN and Peacock, and then AEW with Amazon Prime and HBO Max. But hopefully, with these streaming deals that continue to pile up for both companies, we may never forget the glory and historic service that was the WWE Network. That is it for today's video. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comments below. Do you miss the WWE Network? Or, you know, do you kind of fuck with the whole segmented sort of watching on Netflix and then Peacock and then ESPN for the pay-per-views? Are you down with that? Genuinely, I want to know. Like, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about the video down in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to stay up to date on all things Nacho Wrestling, and I will see you guys next time.